Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. I haven't done one of these videos in a while, and usually when I do Q&A style videos I will do them as live streams, but I thought today I would do an actual video just because it's a lot easier, and I made the last video Ask Me Anything, so I might as well just do it in a video rather than a live stream. I've been on 17,000 subscribers for about a month now, so this is like really overdue. Just thank you to everyone who subscribed. Thank you for all the newcomers. You know, if you are kind of a veteran of this channel, you'll know that I had a huge break at some point last year where I didn't post for about 4 or 5 months. Thank you for sticking with me through that. And yeah, I'm living the dream. I love making this content. I love talking about music, and I love talking about music with other people and sharing my thoughts and feelings on music, because it's a thing we all love. That's why you're all here, that's why you're all watching my channel. So yeah, I have so much great content lined up for the next few months and weeks. I've got a couple of series that I've got in the works. I'm not going to say anything as of right now, but I'm really excited to share them with you. And yeah, once again, thank you so much for 17,000 subscribers. Let's try and get to 20. Let's try and get to 20 by the end of 2024. Let's really go for it. But as I said, today's video is my 17k subscriber Q&A. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing your guys' questions. I have seen a few of them. I've read a couple of them. If I don't answer your question in this video, I'm very sorry, but there were over 60 comments on that video, so I can't do all of them, but I will try my best to answer as many as possible in this short space. So enough yapping, and let's get on with the video. This is post-recording Neve here. As you can see, I've removed the earrings and I've undone my hair, but I completely forgot to do the album of the day, and I thought I did it, but I didn't. Album of the day is called I Loved You at Your Darkest. I'll put a picture of the album cover here by Behemoth, or Behemoth, however you want to pronounce it. This album is of the blackened death metal genre, so those who have not really had much exposure to the genre might not like this one as much, but it's got a lot of really interesting kind of like choral and folky bits in it, which make it really interesting. Usually I'm not into just screaming without substance, but this is really, really good, and I do recommend it to those who are interested. So I will link that in the description. What am I using to hold the posters to my walls? So I have actually three different kinds of poster up on this wall. I have like paper ones, I have card ones, and I've got wall flags. With the paper and the card ones, I just use blue tack. I use a lot in the corners, and then I do a little bit in the middle. But with my flat, I'm not allowed to drill nails into the wall, so I've had to be a bit more creative with hanging up wall flags. So basically, Johan came up with this, so credit to Johan for that. I blue tack them to the wall first, and then I get little push pins and I push them into the wall. And then I also use these little double-sided sticky things, like stickers. I put them in the corners, I put them like literally everywhere, and that's how that Lamb of God one has managed to stay up for like a week. So that's how I hang up my posters. But if I was allowed to drill nails into the wall, I would definitely do that with wall flags. What am I doing this evening? So this obviously was commented 8 days ago, but this evening, I'm probably gonna sit down, watch a movie, make some dinner, listen to music. That's what I usually do in the evenings. I'll probably edit this video, maybe do some uni work. Hi Neve, do you own the plaster sleeve and ribbon version of Still by Joy Division? If so, could you hold it up and let us see it? I don't have my record collection here in my flat because, you know, my record collection is pretty big. And so if I do have it, I wouldn't know. And if I did have it, I would show it, but I haven't got my collection readily available. This is a very interesting question. I read this. This is one of the ones I did read. So have I listened to any more deathcore? I think you'd like Whitechapel, Shadow of Intent. I do like Whitechapel. I don't know Shadow of Intent. Any more metalcore? I think you'd like Invent Animate era. I know Invent Animate, but I have not listened to them. Any more Gen? I do like Animals as Leaders. That is one I do like. And Bad Omens. Bad Omens, funnily enough, I listened to them quite a long time ago. Like, they've gotten really big recently. And I was listening to them, I hate to be one of those people, I listened to them a little bit when they were like only doing like small interviews in Kerrang, because I used to collect Kerrang and read it every week when I was in school. And I liked a couple of songs back then, and then when I stopped listening to metal for a while, I kind of just stopped listening to a lot of those bands, but I have never returned to Bad Omens. Good on them, they're massive now. Are there any film soundtracks that you'd love to get on vinyl? I'm not really much of a movie person. I like watching films, but you know, I'm not that observant when it comes to films, weirdly. I know that is one of my New Year's resolutions this year, was to like go to the cinema more and watch more films and get in tune with like classic movies as well. But as of now, I haven't really got, I'd probably say Forrest Gump, because I watched that movie recently and the soundtrack for that is really good, so maybe that one. Hi, what was the first album that got you into prog rock, and have I got a favourite album and group? So the first album that got me into prog rock, to be honest, my memory is so bad that like I could come up with one now and then think it was a different one later. But my earliest recollection of listening to anything progressive was Pink Floyd, Metal. What solidified my love of prog was probably 2112 by Rush. That was the album that got me more in tune with progressive rock and the genre as a whole. And have I got a favourite album and group? Is that just in general, I imagine? My favourite band of all time is Tool, and my favourite album of all time is Animals by Pink Floyd. What is so appealing about 90s nu metal? Do you know what I found really funny? Actually, I will pop the comment up. I'm popping all the comments up as I'm reading them out. Someone replied to this comment saying nothing. And that's fine, you don't have to like it, but it's always the people who have usernames like this. You're afraid to have a better username? Anyway, what is so great about nu metal? I mean, have you got all day? I could make a whole separate video for that if you like. I really love how groovy it is and how bassy it sounds. I mean, the lyrics are a bit hit or miss sometimes, but the breakdowns are always on point, especially with bands like Korn. Deftones as well, like they have like just some of the best grooves and kind of songwriting, like in terms of like the music part. I love fun tunings, and nu metal uses a lot of fun tunings on their guitars and basses, and yeah, I don't really know how to explain it without kind of demonstrating it, but we live in a world where on YouTube, if you play copyrighted material, I get striked, so I can't give any demonstrations, but yeah, nu metal, great genre. Cigarettes or joints? I don't know if I'm allowed to answer this on YouTube, but I have been smoke-free for quite a while. I smoked quite a lot. Cigarettes. That was my New Year's resolution, was to quit smoking and work out more, just be a bit more healthy. So yeah, neither. I quit smoking. What do I think about bootlegs? This is a fantastic question, because I know this is such a topic of debate amongst vinyl lovers and just music lovers in general. I think some bootlegs actually sound really good depending on how well it was recorded and stuff like that, but I haven't got a problem with bootlegs. I think that sometimes they're pretty awesome. I've listened to so many Tool bootlegs because, well, they don't really release any of their live material like on anything, but on YouTube I've listened to so many of the like early 90s Tool concerts that have just been bootlegged, and some of them sound really bad, I will say, because obviously recording equipment back then is not what it is now, but some of them I kind of like. You know, my dad owns a lot of Grateful Dead bootlegs, and some of them actually sound pretty good. Some of them sound pretty shit, but some of them pretty good. Talking of which, how is your dad? Will we get any more team up videos? Well, I'm back at university at the moment, so the Saturdays with Dad videos are not going to come instantly, but perhaps in the future. We've actually been brainstorming quite a lot of video ideas. We're trying to just settle on one at the moment, and I was back for like a month at Christmas, and that was like the best time we could have filmed, but I was just having so much fun being back from uni that I forgot about recording a video. With your prog name Heritage, how often do you listen to those prog records from your early days? Yes, Gentle Giant, Toll, Rush, etc. I listened to them a lot more than I did, you know, when I took my break last year. As I said in my last video, which if you haven't checked out, definitely do. Re-listening to Nursery Crying by Genesis got me listening to all of the 70s prog stuff I loved. I've been listening to a lot of things like Renaissance and Curved Air, like the female-fronted groups. Obviously listening to a lot of Floyd as always. And yeah, Genesis. I haven't listened to Yes in quite a while. I've listened to a bit of Toll though. Oh, and Rush. Rush I've been listening to a little bit of as of recent. Good to have this opportunity, dear presenter. Is Silly Lobster still performing / rehearsing? No. I mean, we haven't like split up or anything, we just haven't gotten together in a long time. If I could only take 5 albums to a desert island, which 5? This could be its own video, so thank you for the video idea. This is a really hard question, especially I'm doing this on the spot. This is not scripted at all. I can tell you now, one of them will be Animals by Pink Floyd. I have to sit and think about that one. Thanks for the video idea. I'm gonna put that in a separate video. Why the lack of mentioning Italian progressive rock on your channel? I mentioned it a little bit back in like a couple years ago when I was doing a lot of the progressive rock orientated videos, but it was just never something I listened to that much, and I would get suggestions for music like all the time, like a lot. So, you know, don't get offended if I haven't listened to anything. I am just very slow when it comes to music. Like, it takes me a while to listen to some things. Do I still play the bass guitar? Yes, I do, and I'm recording an EP very, very soon. Am I open to music recommendations? My favorite thing is to talk music. Yes, I'm always open to talking about music and also recommendations, but as I mentioned just now, I am really slow when it comes to these things. If you do have suggestions, do leave them, but just bear in mind it takes me a while. My New Year's resolution, another one, was to listen to more music. You know, just to listen to what's happening now, like newer bands, rather than being stuck in, you know, 30, 40 years ago, you know. You have a very broad taste in music. Thank you. What genres of music do I not like at all? I'm one of those people that really tries to be open to everything. So if people give me an album from like some weird genre, I will probably listen to it. But if I really had to pick like music genre that I didn't like, I'd probably say something like mumble rap. And I do like rap / hip hop, but mumble rap, especially UK mumble rap, it just doesn't do anything for me. It's something where I used to work. I used to work in a theme park restaurant. They would play it all the time and it really gets monotonous and boring, and it's just not my thing. Hi, how many cats have you got and what are their names? This question makes me so depressed because I have 2 cats at home and being away from them makes my heart hurt. But I have 2 Burmese cats. I will show you a little picture. Molly and Bobby. Molly is the grey one, Bobby is the brown one. And they are my world. I love them to bits and I miss them so much. What does your dad think about new metal / metalcore / modern metal? Does he like any of the bands that fit these labels? Thanks and cheers from Italy. My dad, if he watches this video, he might agree with me, he might not, is very, very picky when it comes to metal. Like, and I don't blame him because metal's such a massive genre with so many different little counterparts attached to it. He's not really into new metal because, you know, he doesn't like things that are too heavy. Metalcore, that's just off the table for him. I think the closest thing he does like that's somewhat metalcore is Bring Me the Horizon. Modern metal, he likes Gojira. I got him to like them a bit. He likes Opeth. He likes Tool as well. It's all kind of stuff that's not like too in your face, if that makes sense. Like, obviously with bands like Opeth and Gojira, they do have the heavier vocals and extreme vocals, but they've also got the clean singing, and that's an important part, I think, of like the metal that my dad enjoys. Is it's got to have clean singing, and that's absolutely fine. I love clean singing, so he's more of like a classics, you know, Sabbath, Metallica, stuff like that. What is your favorite album that Bill Bruford plays drums on? My favorite, I have 2: Close to the Edge and by Yes, and Red by King Crimson. Both godly albums, in my opinion. Have I explored Robert Fripp's solo discography? Not really, to be honest. I mean, I've listened to the Fripp and Eno collaboration a little bit, and I do like that. Do I have a list of best and worst replacement vocalists? Thank you for another really great idea for a video. I'll keep that one in the back burner, but I think the first one that comes to mind for me is Dream Theater, because obviously their first record had someone else singing, and then they had a different singer. I'm acting like I don't know what his name is. James Labrie, is that his name? Who was the singer afterwards. And that's probably like the first one that comes to mind. In your opinion, what is the best progressive rock band of all time? This is a very big question with, you know, so many answers. But for me, personally, I'd probably say Genesis or Yes. But with Genesis, my cutoff point is after Wind and Wuthering, so I don't know, maybe ELP, actually. Emerson, Lake and Palmer, probably. What are the best Limp Bizkit albums in your opinion? Great question. I was not expecting anything to do with Limp Bizkit appearing on here, so great. I'd say the first 3 Limp Bizkit albums are really, really good, in my opinion. And their latest album, which I think came out a couple years ago, that's also really good as well. I love the production on that album. It's so nice. It's very easy to listen to. Am I extroverted or introverted? Describe my personality. I am a lot more extroverted than I was when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I was incredibly introverted. I couldn't like go anywhere without having someone with me. I was even like that up until I met Johan as well. Like, I'd have to, if someone would say, oh, go and get something from this room, I'd have to have someone go with me if there was someone in that room as well. I was very socially awkward in school and made it a little bit difficult to make friends, but I got there eventually. I think, you know, I came out of my shell a lot more when I went into college and kind of forced myself to talk to people, because this was when I was getting really into music, so I wanted other people to talk about music with, and that's how I met Yawen. I literally just went up to him and I was like, hey, cool Queen shirt, let's talk about Queen. Ever since I've made my YouTube channel, a lot more extroverted. I'm more down to just like talk to random people. Like, I can do that now. Didn't think I would ever be able to do that, but I can. Have you ever walked somewhere while listening to music on headphones and pretended the music was a soundtrack to... I think everyone's done that. Like I do it, especially when I'm like in the car or on the bus or on the train. Like, I'm always just like, I just completely disassociate when it comes to music, and if someone disturbs me, I get very upset. Okay, this is a 3-in-1. Have I listened to Sigur Rós yet? A little bit when I was in Iceland. Have you had any early Kraftwerk pre-Autobahn when they were a krautrock band? I have not. And which genre is more faithful to follow-up 70s prog? Neo-prog or indie/post-rock? I'd say progressive metal is like a massive homage to 70s progressive rock. I mean, things like Porcupine Tree and Opeth are all Dream Theater, you know, Tool even at points. Like, I think that's like the biggest homage to progressive rock from like 50 years ago, in my opinion. Although you did mention things like Radiohead, which really shines through in like a more calm way, and Marillion as well. Okay. Congrats on 17k. Here are my questions. 1. You've expressed an appreciation for many other genres, but rarely talk about things like jazz or hip-hop at length. Is that just a personal preference, or channel branding, or something different? No, it's none of those things. I just haven't listened to enough of those genres to talk about them. 2. Are there any other subjects have you considered making videos about, such as movies or life stories? I would never talk about my life on here because I just don't want to. And movies, as I said earlier, not really a movie person. Like, I watch movies, but I'm not like a film buff. But I have been considering talking more about like the psychological effects of music and stuff like that, because that is something I'm studying at the moment. And also I have a very interesting, not video essay, but kind of that style video coming up at some point. I haven't even written the script for it yet. Yeah, that's how you know it's a big deal. I'm writing a bloody script for it. And number 3, do you ever feel tired or burnt out on prog and metal? If so, what other comfort media do I like to fall back on? So if I'm not, you know, blowing my mind with things like progressive rock and metal, usually it'll be things like really chill things as a like slow dive. Like, I really like shoegaze, even bits of indie rock as well, things that aren't, you know, too challenging on the brain. That sounds really horrible of me to say, but you guys know what I mean. You know, things that aren't gonna make me feel like in an erratic mood, like things that are just gonna make me feel a bit more calm. I remember your Canterbury prog video and listened to the ones that people liked. I found most of it boring, tedious, and it wasn't for me. Then I watched the video and decided to check out Hatfield and the North debut. Wow, very interesting and original. What do I think? I kind of ditched Canterbury prog quite a while ago. When I was listening to prog again and stuff, not a lot of the Canterbury stuff grabbed me back like it did back then. It just didn't really like, it was fine, it was good, but it's not, you know, mind-blowing in my opinion. What do I reckon of John Wetton as a singer? I know a lot of people like him, but I think he spoils some great music. Lark's Tongues in particular, I think he tries too hard. I really like John Wetton's vocals on Red, like as an album, because I think it really shows his, you know, versatility when it comes to being a vocalist as well as a really good bass player. There's some quite strong and loud moments, and particularly like towards the end of Fallen Angel when he's borderline really like almost screaming. I think that like kind of raspy tone I really like. So Lark's Tongues is another good example, but I'd say I'd prefer his work on Red. And that concludes today's video. If I didn't answer your question, I'm very sorry, but I wasn't gonna sit here and answer a bunch of questions that were like, do you know this band? Do you know that band? Do you listen to this band? Or, you know, I hate to say it, but where can I send my music? Blah, blah, blah. Like, that's not stuff I'm going to answer on camera, but I may answer in the comments on that video. But yeah, thank you so much for everyone who asked questions. I hope I gave some sufficient answers. We have a Discog store if you are not aware. As I was talking about vinyl and stuff earlier, I thought I'd mention this. It is always down in the description if you are interested in buying records or rare stuff like box sets. Then that will pique your interest. We do a lot of progressive rock, a lot of psych rock, a lot of, you know, mainly 70s orientated stuff. So if that piques your interest, then definitely go check that out. And my Spotify links as well, if you want to follow me on Spotify, see what I'm getting up to, what I'm listening to, then that's also there. And also my social medias, my Instagram and X, I post on there sometimes. I'm always posting on Instagram. I don't really post on Twitter that much, but follow me anyway. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!